The rabbis say, guy comes to the rabbi and says, if there's only going to obey one rule in my life, what would that rule be? Rabbi says, don't lie. Pretty good rule. It's hard, but it's a pretty good rule because A, if you don't lie, B, you're not going to do anything you got to lie about. So I always thought that my responsibility as a writer and a director is don't lie. That there is something called the truth, which exists somewhere in an ideal form outside of myself. And if I really pay attention, I might have access to some of it. And sometimes I don't know the truth. But if I try to find out the truth, I'm doing my job. And so if I'm writing a play, it might take me 10 minutes to find out the truth, or it might take me 20 years. But if I say, no, this is not quite true, I can get by with it. I can cheat with it. The audience might even buy it, might even be successful. I don't know. If it's not quite true, then I'm not doing my job. So it's important to me to tell the truth. So in order to tell the truth, you got to figure out what the truth is. And sometimes that's a very unpleasant process. Curiously, the theater is the place we go to hear the truth. And the theater in this is like the religious setting. And I'll prove it to you. How many people come late to a movie? Nobody comes late to a movie. Everybody gets to the movie early. How many people come late to church and synagogue? Everyone. Everyone in the world has the same experience of, for God's sake, we're late with blah, blah, blah. Don't change your shoes. Did you lose your keys? Get the car. I'll get the kids. We're going to church. We're going to school. We're late. Don't you understand? We're late. Everybody comes late. Everybody also comes late to the theater. My God, we got tickets to the theater. We're late. Blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get there. Blah, blah, blah. But nobody comes late to the movies. Why? Because the movies don't challenge them. The church, the synagogue, and the theater challenges them so deeply because there's a human need to hear the truth, challenges so deeply, they have to retain some measure of autonomy, right? I'm not going to say I'm anxious about the Word of God or I'm anxious about the play. They say, no, I'm anxious about the time. So it's a dead, Freud said, psychoanalysis is the art of the obvious. It's hard to face the truth, isn't it? I've been fortunate to be very friendly with and study with a great rabbi in Santa Monica named Mordechai Findley. And he was telling a story one day about counseling. And he said, this woman comes and says, Rabbi, my mother has forgotten my birthday for the 4th time in a row. She calls me like 1 day or 2 days later. She said, I was so busy. She says she never sends a present, or she says she'll write a letter a month later saying, I thought I'd send you a present, but I missed the birthday and blah, blah, blah. And she doesn't return my calls and blah, blah, blah. The rabbi says, your mother doesn't like you. So, it may be comfortable now, but that's the truth. I mean, so that's the difference from the psychoanalytic paradigm where you could sit down and say, well, when you were young, blah, blah, blah. He says, okay, your mother doesn't like you. That's the truth. Now the question is, now you got the truth. Can you take the truth? What do you want to do with it? Up to you. All drama is about something which is hidden. Like in the story I was telling about the rabbi, which is hidden is the woman is spending all of her time repressing the fact that her mother doesn't like her. So the idea is you search for the truth will set you free. And it may be pretty or it may be ugly, but it's the truth. How do we know that? Because we have the capacity to commune with the pre-verbal, with the ethereal, love, justice, truth, and beauty. They're out there, we can feel them, right? But we have to devote ourselves to feeling them and train ourselves to overcome the dictates of our reason. I say, wait a second, are you telling me that you're going to spend every Sunday morning going to church and singing these songs about some guy who died 2,000 years ago and may not even live? Does that make sense? Well, yeah, it makes sense. It's called religion. It just makes a different kind of sense. You know, you think about kids, right? What are kids best at in the world, right? Lying, right? No kid has ever told the truth to their parents about anything, right? We remember that when we remember we were kids. Okay, so as Rabbi Finley teaches, you can take a superior position. You say, no, 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 you did not do 2 hours of homework. I know that because I had a clock and a nanny cam in your room, and you did 6 minutes of homework, blah, 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 and wag your finger at the kid, saying it's not true. Or you could suspend your disbelief and say, I get it. The kid didn't want to do homework. He's trying to protect his individuality. He doesn't want to be criticized, so he says, I did 2 hours of homework. I get it. Okay. I'll parent the kid's soul. And also, I learned something else from Rabbi Finley. I'm very, very lucky to have my second great teacher. My first was Rabbi Larry Kushner. He was talking about lying, and he said, what's a lie? He said, imagine you went to the doctor's, and you had a procedure done that was none of anybody's business. And somebody said to you, oh, where were you yesterday? I didn't see you at the club. And you said, I just decided to take a walk. He said, that's not a lie. He said, there are untruths which are not lies. He said, what's a lie? A lie is an untruth that's told to injure someone. I thought that's pretty damn good. We have a right to privacy. We have a right to embellish, right? As long as we're not injuring someone. And in a gossip situation, we know that we aren't injuring someone, right? We're just gossiping. Similarly, in a theatrical situation, we can say things that, if they're internally consistent, might be pleasing, but they aren't a lie, although in one sense they aren't true. Speed Plaza is a comedy, right? So these two guys think they know how to get rich, right? By capitalizing on an adventitious event in show business. They got this into this. See, that's the thing about Hollywood, right? It's a dreadful, dreadful, dreadful place to live, right? Unless you're like dead or something. Because the lie in Hollywood functions like Las Vegas. You're just this far from getting vastly wealthy. My God, you could walk into the supermarket and see blah, blah, and they'd say, oh, what a nice pair of glasses. And you'd say, yes. You'd start talking, and then you would be the producer on the new movie. Just like Las Vegas, the reason people go to Las Vegas and get broke is it's almost true. If nobody ever won in Las Vegas, nobody would go to Las Vegas. The fact that somebody might win in Las Vegas means everybody goes to Las Vegas. The fact that somebody might get lucky in Los Angeles means everybody goes to Los Angeles and they waste their lives. So it's hard to get rid of that addiction, because if you like being inert, you can live with that addiction forever. That's the lie, right? There's just enough truth in it that you can fool yourself into saying, well, that makes sense. What the old joke is, what and leave show business, right? In American Buffalo, the lie is introduced by the character of the antagonist. So everything that happens in a dream, of course, are all aspects of our own consciousness. What else would they be, right? The little dog Fluff and the mountain and the stream, they're all aspects of our own consciousness, symbolized, and we're free to interpret the symbols however we want. So that everybody in the drama is aspects of one character, right? The character is split. It used to be that the drama was just one person on stage in a chorus, and this guy called the Thespis, I think, introduced the deuteragonist, right? The second player. You have the antagonist, the guy who's acts against the protagonist. So the protagonist in the play is Donnie Dubrow in American Buffalo. The antagonist is this character called Teach, and his lie is, nobody can lead you to the truth but me. Everybody else is trying to take advantage of you. You aren't getting what you deserve. The young fellow who you've befriended as your protege, he's turned on you. And he speaks so convincingly that he leads the protagonist down the road almost to murdering the guy who's in effect his son.